was real depressing, minus the bench. I was thirsty with that thirst only ink could quench, but I did have the pen. I just couldn't find the words. Somehow they escaped me and got away with the curds that every ditch has its perks. So I wait patiently on the corner where inspiration lurks with the drunks and the pervs who are buying what Jessie is selling from her skirt. Her eyes are telling me it hurts. Her tears are begging me to write something that she can call hers. So to her, I dedicate this verse of this poem, to let her know that Jesus loves her even when she feels she doesn't know him, and to let her know that there's still hope when her back's against the rope. But she takes that same rope and makes herself a news. I found out on yesterday's 6 o'clock news another life gone too soon. But for inspiration's sake, I keep on the move. Until I come across the drug fiends on a binge, sharing their common interest through a common syringe, pain covering their faces like an overgrown fringe. And through rotten teeth, one of them says he has something for me. I told him he can keep it in exchange for his story. Let me take it and squeeze from it all of the glory. I said I'll even take my time to make it rhyme and show the rest of the world that even the roughest diamonds can still shine. And that's when I come across those so intoxicated with love that they're blind. But not because of the love itself, but because of their two black eyes. A woman, used and abused and left bruised like an overheated feud with their so-called boo. A man who said he wouldn't touch her again, but she can't escape because she abandoned her friends. Because they said he ain't no good for her heart and definitely ain't no good for her soul. But that's exactly what she sold. So we moved into a huge house but gave her no space. Called her beautiful but still felt the need to leave marks on her face. Two black eyes and a bust lip, broken leg and a popped hip. He went quiet for a while, so I thought that she stopped it. But this is her verse, and in it I include this top tip. Leave him before he kills you. I don't care how much he says he loves you, and I don't care how much it thrills you. Because in the long run, you'll be left weeping like wills you. And that's when I come across the woman who's always popping pills you. He's got sleep in his eyes and dirt on his face, but he's still cute. I tried to start a conversation, but he remains mute. But his stomach is making all of the noise, and the worst thing is he's only one of 5 boys. And all of the hair stays picky. The mum's out here like Nikki, cause she's always in the trap, negotiating prices on crack while her kids are out of bags, dressed head to toe in bags, but she can still afford her fags. And as for dad, well, he's somewhere with another family living pretty, with a healthy amount of pee in the kitty. So what's worse? A dad who puts his other kids first, or a mum who trying to raise kids with an addiction and not a penny in her purse? Personally, I don't believe that these are the parents that these kids deserve. But I keep on, until I come across the teen mum. She's doing well for herself considering she can't remember the last time she's seen mum. No sign of that apple tree that she apparently didn't fall too far from. And she would have turned back now, but by the 8th month she was way too far gone. Baby daddy's far gone. But she was smart once. Until she started hanging around with her loose friends, became pregnant and started to lose friends. And if she could redo life, she wouldn't spend so much time on that dude's ends, because now he's not there to help tie together those loose ends. But I guess it's only fair we take a look at life through his lens. Because for the past 5 years, every year he's lost friends, due to them being spotted on the wrong ends. And he's not surprised when he's branded a gang member, because when he looks back, drugs and crime is all he can remember. And he's always been confused as to why they say blood is thicker when his family tree was always strengthened by water. His own self-doubt is telling him that he didn't deserve to have his own daughter, because his mum wasn't around and his dad was a walker. He has no blood relatives in his bloodline. His unborn child would be his first blood tie. So when he takes a look at life, he realizes he has so much left to put right. And he said he's going to start by being a father to his child, even though he's never been shown how. I guess this means our teen mum isn't so alone now. Maybe they can go back to being royalty and reclaim their throne now and pick up the crowns that they so long ago had thrown down. In fact, I hope all of these people find a place that they can say, yes, I'm home now. But I see a man who looks at me funny and says, home? How? I lived on a council estate, became broke and got thrown out. So I do believe I have a lot to moan about. Because all of my life I've paid my bills on time and I've never been to prison. But my money got sucked back in by the corrupt government system, you know? The ones with puppets that will use force if you try to resist them. The same ones that have committed so many fraud crimes it take too long to list them. The ones that get more money while we get more problems and still have the cheek to turn up the nose when we ask for something from them. And expect us to believe everything that passes their lips. But if I was to say something, it would fall on deaf ears. Let's face it. The system is corrupt, but we ain't thought of anything better to replace it, because we're too busy working day and night for our payslip. So I've seen the suicidal, drug fiends, teen mums, the lot. Who would have known you could learn so much by just spending some time on writer's block? Thank you.